Hi everyone, in this video we're going to quickly install MAKO, a new frame generation project for SteamOS devices. This is a follow-up to my previous video, which I'll leave linked in the description and which goes into all of the background in much more detail. But just to quickly establish what MAKO actually is. It was created by Eugenio Segala and is the continuation and rebranding of his previous LSFG-VK Experimental and Decky LSFG-VK Experimental projects. The MAKO renderer descends from LSFG-VK Experimental, which itself originated as a fork of Pancake TAS's in development LSFG-VK 2.0 work, the Vulkan Linux layer that allows lossless scaling frame generation technology to work on Linux. MAKO is not the official LSFG-VK 2.0, and Pancake continues to develop the official 2.0 project independently. The Decky side of MAKO likewise descends from Eugenio's fork of Jason Derulo's original Decky LSFG-VK plugin. So the lineage and original work are still important here. Pancake TAS created LSFG-VK, Jason Derulo created the original Decky integration, and MAKO is the continuation of Eugenio's experimental forks built on top of both. MAKO is also developed with extensive use of AI coding agents. Eugenio has publicly documented that agents are involved throughout areas including implementation, code analysis, testing, diagnostics, log analysis, and debugging. While he says the architecture, technical decisions, review, and final release responsibility remain with him, there are also concerns surrounding that development approach, which I covered in much more depth in my previous video, so I highly recommend watching that if you want the full context. So, with that all established and out of the way, let's get straight into installing it. So to get started, we need to open our web browser and navigate to the official Decky Loader website, and download the installer to our Downloads folder. Afterwards, let's download the latest MAKO zip file release from the MAKO GitHub page, and download this to our Downloads folder. And let's do the same again for Decky Frame Gen, which allows us to easily use FSR 4.1 in our supported games, by going to Releases and downloading the zip file to our Downloads folder. Once we have all three files, let's go to our Downloads folder, run the Decky installer, and use a temporary password when asked. And depending on whether you're on the stable or beta release of SteamOS, let's choose Release or Pre-Release. And once the install is complete, let's exit the window and return to gaming mode. Now back in gaming mode, we need to purchase and install lossless scaling from the Steam store for a small one-time payment. And press the Quick Access menu button to show that a new Decky icon has appeared in the list. From here, we're going to go into Decky Settings, and on the General tab, toggle Developer Mode on. And in the Developer tab, we're going to choose Browse on Install from Zip File, and choose the MAKO zip file from our Downloads folder. And once installed, we're going to choose Install MAKO Renderer, and going down the list, we can see the ability to turn frame generation on or off, enable a performance mode, activate adaptive frame generation, set FPS caps and frame multipliers, but at the very end, I'm going to choose Copy Launch option, and try MAKO out quickly with Stellar Blade by choosing Settings, Properties, and in my Launch command field, I'm going to paste the MAKO command inside like so. Go back and launch the game. In game with the Steam Deck preset and FSR 3.1 set to quality, I have frame generation enabled at 2 times with a base FPS of around 40 to 50, and much like Decky LSFG-VK Experimental, input latency is virtually non-existent on this occasion, although results will differ from game to game and player to player, so I recommend trying several supported games with MAKO and reaching a conclusion after a few sessions. In addition, we have adaptive frame generation, where if our base FPS is 30 to 40, we can choose a target FPS of 90 if we're on the Steam Deck OLED. And with an adaptive multiplier of 3 times, we can comfortably hit this and experience minimal ghosting and minimal input latency. If you give it a try, let us know in the comments how it went for you, which games you've tried, and which settings you've used. Next, I want to show how to install FSR 4.1 with MAKO using the Decky Frame Gen plugin by Jason Derulo. We're going to open the Quick Access menu again, go to Decky Settings, go to the Developer tab, browse on Install from Zip File, go to our Downloads folder and install the Decky Frame Gen zip file, where, once completed, we can choose Setup Optiscaler Mod and change our default FSR 4 runtime to FSR 4.1.1, Valve RDNA 2 compatibility, our proxy DLL name to DXGI, and select our supported game from the list. And I'm going to choose Ghost of Tsushima, select Patch with DXGI, and inside the game Settings, Properties, and launch command field, we'll see that Decky Frame Gen has already pasted that for us, so we can use FSR 4.1. But if we remove the command % and copy the MAKO launch command, we can paste this at the end to combine them both. And if we want to open a tool called OptiScaler so we can change from FSR 4 to 3 or XeSS, we can go to the controller tab, enable backgrip buttons and change L4 to use the insert key, which can be found on the numpad tab. And when we launch and get into game, we can set our preferred frame generation mode and then press L4 to bring up OptiScaler and see that FSR 4.1 is already selected for us by default. So that's MAKO and FSR 4.1 installed and running on SteamOS. Just to reiterate, MAKO is the continuation of Eugenio Segala's experimental forks, built on top of PancakeTAS's LSFG-VK work, and Jason Derulo's original Decky integration. So full credit to the original developers whose work made all of this possible in the first place. MAKO also uses extensive AI-assisted development, and if you want the full background around that, the project's origins, the concerns surrounding it, and my own testing, I highly recommend watching my previous video, linked below. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new today, please give this video a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with others. Thank you for your time, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you later.